Hello everybody, how's everyone doing? As for me, everything is going pretty well. Work is just work and not much has changed. In this week's video, we will continue to learn about options. More specifically, we'll be going over the basics of options profitability. There are two types of options, a call and a put. There are also two types of people, a buyer and a writer. A call option buyer makes a profit if the stock rises above the strike price before the expiry. A put option buyer makes a profit if the price falls below the strike price before the expiration. A buyer makes a profit based on the difference between the stock price and the option strike price at expiration or when the option position was closed. A call option writer makes a profit if the underlying stock stays below the strike price. On the other hand, a put option writer profits if the price stays above the strike price. Option writers, or also known as option sellers, profit based on the premium they receive for writing the option. The premium they receive is equal to the option buyer's cost. The main difference between option buying and option selling is the amount you can profit. An option buyer can make a larger return due to the stock price being able to move significantly beyond a strike price. On the other hand, the option writer is limited to the premium no matter how much the stock moves. People write options because the odds are typically on the side of the option writer. For instance, a study in the late 1990s showed that 75% of all options held expired worthless. This means that for every option contract in the money, there are 3 that are out of the money, which basically means the option writer is always in the favor. Let's now evaluate the risk versus reward of the 4 most basic strategies. Buying a call is the most basic option strategy. It is a low-risk strategy because you're capped at only losing the premium you paid to buy the call. However, as mentioned before, there is a 75% chance your call expires worthless. Also, this is assuming that you're buying a call that is a small portion of your portfolio. Buying a put is the opposite of buying a call. You're betting the stock is going to go down and you are also capping your risk to the premium you paid for it. However, if you think about it carefully, buying a put is kind of riskier than buying a call due to stocks naturally trending upwards more often than not. Writing a put is the favored strategy of advanced option traders because in the worst case scenario, they have to just buy the stock back. On the other hand, the best scenario would mean the writer retains the full amount of the option premium. The risk versus reward profile is much worse than buying a call or a put because more often than not, your max profit is only the premium of the option, but your max loss is usually higher than the premium. But once again, you have a higher chance of profiting from writing a put. Writing a call comes in 2 forms, a covered call and a naked call. A covered call is when the investor has the stock in their portfolio and writes a call. An uncovered call does not have the stocks held in the portfolio. Like writing a put, the max profit is equal to the premium received. However, the max loss is infinite as the stock can continue to rise. Finally, you can open spreads. This is where you're buying one or more options at the same time. It is usually used to offset the premium paid because the sold option premium will net against the options premium purchased. Also, your profit and loss are capped. The different types of spreads will be covered in a future video. Let's now move on to an example. Buying options allow the investor to trade with leverage, which ultimately allows them to earn much more money than if they were to just buy the stock outright. For instance, if an investor has $900 and feels bullish about a stock trading at $90, this means that he can afford 10 shares of the stock. However, if the investor decides to put $900 into 3-month calls that have a strike price of $95 and only cost $3 each, this means he can buy 3 of those calls. Remember that a call is worth 100 shares, so the investor was able to build up a position that's worth around 300 shares. If the investor was right and he sees the stock is trading at $103 and the call rose from $3 to $8, the trader would have profited massively when compared to buying just 10 shares of the stock. If he bought 10 shares of the stock at $90, then he would have profited $130. This is a 14.4% return. However, since the investor bought 3 $95 calls, he profited around $1,500, which is 166.7%. As you can see, options provide a tool for the trader to earn potential greater than usual profits. The only important thing is to remember that if the trade did not work and the stock falls below $95, then your option will expire worthless. This means that you would have lost $900. If you just bought the stock outright, you would have at least the initial 10 shares of the stock. Finally, when trading options, it is usually wise to close out the contract and not exercise it due to the amount of cash needed to buy the shares. For instance, if the investor decided to exercise his 3.95 calls at expiry, then he would have to put money in to buy 300 shares of the stock at $95. Therefore, more investors close out the contract before expiry. So when do we decide to buy an option? First, you have to decide if you're bullish or bearish. If you're really bullish, then you can select riskier short-term calls that are cheaper but at the same time riskier. For instance, let's say you're really bullish on a stock. You do not want to spend more than 50 cents per call option. This leads you to find two choices. One choice is to go for 2-month calls with a strike price of $49 that are available for 50 cents. The other choice is to buy 3-month calls with a strike price of $50 for 47 cents. Since you're really bullish on a stock, you would buy the 3-month call because you believe that the slightly higher strike price is more than enough to offset by the extra month to expiration. Second, you have to look at volatility. The higher the volatility, the more expensive options are. This means that it's usually better to buy options when the implied volatility is on the low end. Finally, let's go over some option trading tips. Your goal is to purchase options with the longest possible expiration in order to give your trade a chance to work. On the other hand, when you're writing options, you want to go to the shortest possible expiration in order to limit your liability. Once those conditions are met, you would want to purchase the cheapest possible one. This can be done by buying on days where implied volatility is low. One way to do this is to buy the stock before an earnings report on a stock. Other than the technicalities, it is important to remember to do some technical analysis and try not to buy into resistance levels or sell at support levels. It is also important to know which sector the stock belongs in. Biotech stocks trade heavily on the outcomes of the clinical trial. This means you can buy deep out-of-the-money calls or puts if you're bearish or bullish on the stock because price will jump or drop greatly depending on the results. If you're in sectors that are less volatile, it would make sense to not buy deep out-of-the-money calls or puts because unlike biotech, those stocks don't have the ability to jump that much. With that, I'm going to end my video. If you liked this video, press the like button. If you have any questions about this video, leave a comment below. If you want to watch more videos like this, press the subscribe button. This is Books of the Stock Market, and I'll see everyone next week. Thanks.